God Valley, Elbaf, and Ohara are all related by history, and I'm here to talk about it because I believe that Ohara is actually, yes, the encyclopedia of the world of One Piece, or it used to be, because of the world tree that they had and all of that, and the amount of knowledge they actually had in their libraries. And at the same time, I believe that to actually get a library or to get all of the books that they have and all the research that they've done and all the poneglyphs that they studied on and all of that, which was illegal, you know. And watch out, Amy's watching. But at that point in time, I believe that the researchers of Ohara were going around the world of One Piece amassing sources of information and research, documentation, and all of that. But I believe that the most of their research and the most of their information is actually coming from two big sources. Those two big sources, one of them is God Valley, and the second one is Elbaf. Now hear me out. And before we keep going, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below your most favorite theory about God Valley. Let's hear it out. So Ohara was an island that was full of libraries, full of documentation, and full of information and knowledge. Why? Because basically it was full of researchers from all over the world that were coming in there to actually do more research and expand their knowledge in a way. And from that perspective, the knowledge had to also come from somewhere. Basically, the researchers had to go by themselves and look out for those informations. And in those researchers, we have, for example, the mother of Robin, that was one of the researchers with her husband at that point in time, and they both got caught up with the Marines and everything because the Marines knew that they were doing some research about the Void Century and everything. And just like I said, he was watching the Void Century, don't do that. And that's why, since they knew they were researching the Void Century, they were like, yeah, we have to get him, you know. And that's the same for all the other researchers. For example, the most famous one, the head of the library and everything, we've got Claw D Clover. Claw D Clover had some style, and he was wild, I'm telling you. He was a member of the D clan from the name that we got, because it's not Cloud Clover, it's Claw D Clover. So you understand that he's got also the D sign in his name, and so he's a member of the D clan. And from what I heard, it's all from his name. It also says the sword of the righteous or something like that. Like just in his name, you understand that he's very righteous in a way, and he's looking for the truth in a way. And Claw D Clover, just like I said, was wild. He used to go around the whole world of One Piece, fight off with people, go crazy with people. He had so many friends around the world of One Piece. He was even friends with Vegapunk, with Monkey D. Dragon, and everybody. He basically knew everybody around the world of One Piece, and he used to travel and get some knowledge and some information out of people and out of places, out of countries and stuff. And he also found a lot of information, like a lot of poneglyphs, because with his help, they basically discovered a lot of stuff about the Void Century, up to the point where they discovered even the name of the old kingdom that used to go against him and all of that. And so by doing so, and by getting informations left and right and all of that, he always, you know, had the Marines on his back, because sometimes he would venture himself into places he was not supposed to be looking at, and the Marines would be on his ass trying to get him, basically. But thank God, Claw D Clover, he was basically a master ninja. He could literally get out of all the situations he was getting himself in, just like Kaido, but less stronger. And so, with all of the information that Cloudy Soul was able to get, and all the other researchers were able to get, they were able to actually create the biggest library of the One Piece world, basically, and all of the researchers of the world were coming there to study and to do more studying, to get more knowledge, and even to expand their knowledge and maybe do some more discoveries and all of that. And that's why Ohara was, you know, the library of the world of One Piece. And from that perspective, when you actually see what kind of research they were actually doing and all of that, so we know that they were researching the poneglyphs, the Void Century, and all of that, the planets and everything. So from that perspective, where do you think the knowledge would come from? Because yes, if you go, for example, to the Boa Kingdom, where Luffy is coming from, you're not gonna actually discover that much. You're not gonna discover, poneglyphs and stuff like that. But if you go to very specific islands, you will discover probably a lot. For example, on Elbaf, we know that there is some information about the Void Century, and for example, we've got the Harley text. And in the Harley text, we've got the description of what happened in the first world and what happened in the second world and what might happen in the third one. So from that perspective, we already have a lot of information that they probably already got because Vegapunk knows about that, and Vegapunk got the research of Ohara. So from perspective, Claw D Clover might have actually gotten to Elbaf at some point, and he might have studied some stuff on Elbaf, for example, the Harley text. And for example, also, we might have some other information on Elbaf that we don't know yet. For example, there's also a research facility that's dated to like 3,000 years or something like that. So you can see that there's a lot of historical information to get. So that's why I'm saying that Elbaf might have been one of the biggest sources of Ohara. On that same perspective, we've got God Valley. On God Valley, who used to live on God Valley? And let me also remind you, God Valley was not affiliated to the world governments. They were by themselves, just like Elbaf, just like Wano Kuni. God Valley was populated by members of the Davy clan. The members too. So from that perspective, if they are members of the Davy clan and from the perspective of what Rocks used to know about the world of One Piece, and he maybe used to know how to actually defeat Emo, and even his wife knew something basically. So from that perspective, I'm saying that maybe the Davy clan has some secrets that they were telling to each other from around the Void Century and everything, and maybe that information was being passed down, and maybe they have a poneglyph or two, maybe. And from that perspective, even David E. Jones' tomb or something like that might have been under God Valley, for example. So from that perspective, there's a lot of information to uncover about the Void Century. So when you combine what happened in Elbaf and what happened in God Valley, you've got a pretty strong argument at that point to actually call them real sources and to actually get those information and make something out of all of that information, And now you can study it and everything. And after studying, that's how they got to the final conclusions of even deducting the name of that old kingdom in the Void Century. In the same manner, I would also tell you that the researchers also traveled maybe to Wano Kuni already, traveled to see the Fishman Island and all of that, because there's also some information there. But not just that, they probably also went all around the world and they discovered a poneglyph here and a poneglyph there. And from all of those information that they could relate to the information that they truly got on Elbaf and God Valley, that's when Ohara was like, you know what? Looks like there's a link in between all of this. Like, what's going on? We see that there is something in here, so let's study it. And that's how their whole studies of the Void Century was basically hidden underground in their libraries, because it was kind of illegal to do those studies. They had to kind of hide all of that. And thank God Robin actually discovered all of that, and she was actually able to study all of that and understand all of that. And so hopefully Robin one day will start actually talking and say all of the information that she's got, because she's already got a lot of information, with the straw hats and everything. She already discovered some poneglyphs here and there, but from the information she already got from Ohara back in the day that she read secretly and all of that, and from the information that she can get also on Elbaf, hey, I am telling you, we might get to know the name of the ancient island in the next chapters of Elbaf. I am telling you, we are that close. So hopefully, guys, you like this video. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think about this theory of God Valley and Elbaf being the true sources of Ohara's library and all of that? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!